A Valley woman gets the gift of new wheels.
And for her whole family, life will now be less of a challenge. As KPSP Local 2 mobile journalist Jason Rzucidlo discovers, local organizations are to thank.
Really grateful that they did that donation, and especially for my son because he's disabled, and the one we owe is kind of like almost about to break down on us.
Mara Mendez is a home health care worker from Indio. She has 2 kids, one of them disabled.
And the wheelchair is kind of heavy for me, and to be able to, to make it easier for me to put it in the vehicle, and this came up,
Mendez says her 83 station wagon has many problems, including an axle ready to bust. But when she heard about a contest to win a refurbished car, she thought there was hope. The contest is put on by Pacific Collision Centers and the National Auto Body Council's Recycled Rides program. Mara Mendez was in the process of taking her old car in for repairs when she found out the good news. Javier Lopez is the manager of the Pacific Collision Center in Cathedral City. He says this was the first time the body shop has hosted the program in conjunction with the nonprofit.
Recycled Rides, Hertz Rental Agency and Pacific Collision gets together, and Hertz donates a vehicle to us. So the process starts with us doing all the necessary repairs that we need for her to be in a safe vehicle.
Mendez can't take her new minivan home just yet. It's 23 years newer than her station wagon. But she has to wait till Friday. Jason Rzucidlo, KPSP, Local2.com.
I think it'll be worth the wait. Mendez says her first road trip will be this weekend. She plans to head to L.A.
The San Jacinto apartments in Palm Springs looked more like a war zone than a place where people live. Andrew and Kimberly Seeger were 2 of the unlucky ones. Their car got smashed from the flying debris.
It got really, really windy first. We saw stuff flying around in the back through our patio window. We have a power pole right across from our patio, and it started moving. And then there's also one right across from our bedroom window, and it started moving too.
Winds of up to 66 miles per hour wreaked havoc on the complex. This is definitely one of the hardest hit areas in our valley, where more than 9 cars were smashed and over 20 trees were toppled. Crews have been busy all day cleaning up the remnants of the windstorm. Janet Curto lives in the area and came out to look at the damage with their own eyes.
Our complex had trees falling on top of houses, and here all the car roofs are down and the roofs are on top of the cars. It's just been unbelievable. Hard to believe.
Many said it had looked like a tornado had hit the valley. Mark Chapin was working in Palm Desert when most of the damage took place.
When I got home, I got greeted by that sight out there. My neighbors' cars were crushed, and then that spot right in the middle where it's flattened out on the ground is where I normally park, so I kind of dodged a bullet on that one.
It will be several more days before life gets back to normal at the San Jacinto apartments. In Palm Springs, Jason Rzucidlo, KPSP, Local2.com.
Sometimes the smallest actions of individuals can make the largest difference. Tonight, KPSP Local 2 mobile journalist Jason Rzucidlo takes us to Palm Springs, where the Human Rights Commission honored 14 individuals and organizations for their contributions to our community.
Luciano Ramirez, a supporter of human rights, spends his time volunteering, going to different schools, and reading to kids. Tonight, he was honored for his community service at the Human Rights Awards.
We were very humbled and surprised, and at the same time glad that they recognized our work with literacy. We're helping kids across the valley, helping them to read, especially in some of the, when we go to some of the poorest elementary schools at Oasis Elementary, Mecca Elementary, and Torres Martinez. And so it's nice to see, we want to see kids develop a love for reading.
The event, put on by the Palm Springs Human Rights Commission, recognizes people in the community who work every day to better the lives of others. 14 individuals and organizations received recognition at the 14th annual event. This year's honorees include educators, philanthropists, and those who donated their time to the less fortunate. The ceremony took place inside the Palm Springs City Council chamber, just before the Human Rights Commission's regularly scheduled meeting. The public nominated the recipients after an ad was placed in the local paper asking people to vote.
It shows people that when you see what people do to step up to the plate to help other people, it inspires them to want to get involved. And this is something we've perpetuated each year.
Other honorees include Rick and Rosine Supple, owners of the Camelot Theater, one of the venues for this week's Palm Springs Film Fest. In Palm Springs, Jason Rzucidlo, KPSP-Local2.com. Michael Lansing has been in business for 31 years, but he never saw this coming.
When there was a loud explosion and they ducked for cover because it sounded like a gunshot, and indeed it was.
The bullet came just 20 feet away from one of the workers.
About 12:15, we hit the ground, ducked cover because there was a big loud bang, and beside us came a bullet through the roof.
3 employees were unloading equipment from a New Year's Eve party when it happened. This is just one example of how ringing in the new year with a gun can be very destructive. Do you have an estimate of the damage done?
Probably about $400 to $500 on the roof.
Lansing moved to this new location at North Shore and Front Street in 2004. And the worst part is, employees have no idea who did this.
Whoever shot guns last night, please don't do it. It seems like a fun thing to do at the time, but it could be fatal.
Jason Rzucidlo, KPSP-Local2.com. Jason Rzucidlo reporting right outside the Parker Resort here in Palm Springs for the 2012 Palm Springs International Film Festival. We're just minutes away from the arrival of celebrities like George Clooney, Brad Pitt, Glenn Close, and many more. Jason Rzucidlo reporting outside the Parker Resort here in Palm Springs for the 2012 Palm Springs International Film Festival. The stars are just about to arrive in the next few minutes. We're expecting to see George Clooney, Brad Pitt, Glenn Close, and many more.
More than a dozen Temecula Valley wineries offered samples of some of their handcrafted wines. Polo matches were also canceled for another event at the Polo Grounds. Unfortunately today, it was a benefit for the Humane Society of the Desert called Polo for Paws. KPSP Local 2 morning anchors Todd Pyro and Stella Inger hosted the event, which also featured a silent auction. Attendees were also introduced to several of the Humane Society animals now ready for adoption.
Well, we have 9 acres of animals. Our population is over 150 animals with dogs and cats, and we have to answer to them every morning and every night. So these fundraisers are extremely important and vital for our facility.
The Humane Society of the Desert has grown from a small rescue facility to one of Southern California's largest no-kill animal sanctuaries. For more information about adopting those animals, you can head on over to our website at kpsp-local2.com.
We have lost a brother, sister, or a parent, and we help them develop their grieving process so that they can grow to be very proud adults.
The proceeds from the event will help send about 70 kids to a summer camp at Big Bear and will help the Morning Star program here in the desert. The golf cart drawing will take place February 29th at the Classic Club in Palm Desert.